Great, thank you. More of me. You're not getting rid of me yet. I'm going to talk more about multi-channel integration. I've been with Merlin for over 6 years now, but I only joined the CRM department about a year ago. So I come from a much broader marketing function than Merlin. So I've kind of done marketing for different attractions, and I've done PR, trade, promotions, brand, product development, research. So I've kind of done most of the stuff. Now in CRM, I think that's really why I'm so passionate about the cross-channel marketing, because I don't think enough people really do it and enough people really look into it. And before last year, our department was always the department that sent out emails. I was the guys that sent out emails. But actually, CRM is so much more than just sending out emails. You know, there's all the data that we have, the consumer behavior that we can read through our channels. So that's why I'm really, really passionate about multi-channel. A very quick overview for the guys that might not know. So Merlin Entertainment is a global business, and we're UK-based. We have about 130 attractions now in 26 countries. We are currently building the next Legoland in New York and in Korea, which will then make it 10 Legolands across the globe. We have theme parks in the UK, Germany, and Italy, and then lots of other attractions like Sea Life, Madame Tussauds, the Eye, the Dungeons. So quite a big portfolio. Also, ski resorts in Australia. Don't know whether it's going to be as nice as here. I don't think so, but yeah. In the UK, 32 attractions. We also do lots of accommodation. So the biggest growth driver for us is actually accommodation. And in the UK, we have 2 million visitors a year. Globally, about 60 million visitors a year. So we're the second largest entertainment business after Disney. And that's kind of our portfolio in the UK. Here lies the email. And I get that question, I think, a lot in Merlin from people that are not in the email marketing team or have been involved in email marketing. Isn't email dead? Who thinks email's dead? Good. Okay. I didn't expect any hand raisers here at an Email Insider Summit. You know, you go to bigger marketing conferences, and you get that hand raiser. Yeah, email is dead. You know, the guys on social media. Oh yeah, email is dead. People that want to, that book TV advertising, that they think. So looking at what people actually talk about, the Generation Y. So we looked at quotes from the Generation Y. For serious business, social media for socializing. My peers use Facebook a whole lot more. New mediums are easier, entertaining, easier to use. There's so much to do on Facebook. I could spend hours on it. You usually go and check Facebook before checking it. It's a necessary evil that you have to deal with. I only use email if I have to send teachers an assignment or check for coupons. So I think overall there is an entertainment bit, but even in the Generation Y, email is still, it's still a channel, it's still there, and they're using it. The coupons, we are huge on coupons. I mean, if you haven't seen a 2-for-1 for Merlin yet, you've missed out. There is coupons, we are all about coupons. So really, really glad that's in there. So what's actually happening, email is not dead, it's just changing. And I think it's important that we actually acknowledge that. It's not email as it was 10 years ago. This might be a while ago when, you sent a mail, people went to your website and possibly made a purchase. Actually, if you look at what happens these days, it's probably more like that. And we've attribution models yesterday, very briefly, and it's, I think, an ongoing topic in every company. How do I attribute revenue to my different channels? And who gets, it's always the PPC guys that get the money, right? Because you search for it, you click it, and then always the PPC guys that get the money. But it's important that the behavior is changing. I mentioned it earlier. People are using 4 devices at the time to do, to just sit on the couch, and that's changing a lot. So, question: are you guys using kind of bespoke landing pages and stuff for your email campaigns? How do you? Does anyone, does bespoke content for their emails and not link them to the shop to yeah, everyone does that. Very good. Because this is getting a lot harder, so we need to look at what we actually. So landing pages are one thing. There is Facebook coming in. There is coming in, Instagram, YouTube. More emails. There's TV in between. There might be out of home, and the might be done 14, 21, 28 days later. So it's important that we kind of acknowledge that between email and the page, there might be a lot of other channels that actually can support the channel. And that's one thing that my department works a lot harder now than ever before, is actually how can we, as an email marketing team or a team, support all of these other channels with what we know about our consumers. So we look after our single customer view. We also look after our email. So we own all of the email marketing across our region. And we actually deploy the campaigns, but also we look after our SCV. So everybody that actually makes a purchase with us, we have their data, so we know when they purchase, where they live, so all the data comes in. And the insight piece is huge for us. So we are now getting requests in from all of the attractions and actually say, what TV should I book, what radio advertising should I book, underground, what people are there that travel on the underground that come to London. So all of that insight that we have, how far in advance do people book? When do I actually need to go out with my advertising for Easter? Actually for us, but we thought, Easter, people actually might make plans 2 or 3 weeks before. Actually, they don't. They might think about travel, but actually an attraction ticket comes in a day or 2 days before they're actually in town. So we all know that from our data, and we can feed that through into all of the channels. And that's kind of the insight hierarchy that we have. For email, we have the most insight in our database and in our SCV. And then if you go up here, it kind of goes further down. So we have less insight coming in. Sorry. We have individual personal data for social, so we can match people. We can do device IDs. We can retarget people. We have regional insights, location, drive time, TV. We even look at mosaic profiling. So what people purchase, what kind of product and what kind of brands, and we then buy TV advertising towards how people behave in email marketing and in our online stores and how they purchase. And we feed that through all of our marketing teams and through the marketing directors, and the media plan now actually built on the insights that we drive from within the email marketing channel and the online purchase journey. I know a lot of email marketers in here. How many have joined up with their social media teams and actually done campaigns together? Yeah, good amount. So that's where, for us, really the potential is. So we have a fairly big database in the UK, but some of the data we don't have opt-ins. So you purchase, you come into our database. We know who you are, where you live, if you have kids, what you purchase, and we have your email address. But we might not be able to actually contact you via email. For us, those numbers are not the correct numbers, but for us, that's about the split. We have our full database we can use for insights, so we can actually use every data that we have and feed through all of to the other teams. Then we have about 1/3 that we have opted for email. Then the 2/3 bit, which actually mesh up in social media, the people's email address, or they might people that have opted out, so have opted out of our email channel, but actually target now in social media, reference them. So for us, this was really the big potential. So increasing 1/3 of your data that you can contact to the other people that you have in your database that have purchased you before, contact them on some media and actually drive revenue through that. Plus, what we then do with our supplier is we create lookalikes of those. So within Facebook, find people that look similar to those people that have purchased before and find audiences like that. So what does that look like, the lookalike modeling? We start with a kind of data set. In this case, it would be our database. We then find people within Facebook and match them. And at Facebook, so we upload them. So my email address might be the same on Facebook as it is in our database. We find me, other people in Facebook, and then we determine what all of them have in common. They might like Manchester United and like going to Nando's and I don't know what. And we find that, and then we find people that also like Nando's and Manchester United. And then we target those people on Facebook. And that has been a really success story for us. So actually using the data that you have, but expanding it with people that are very similar in other channels. How do we make that even more precise on email, and how do we link it in even more? We now always look at data. So the lookalike model that I just showed you is very much on the data that you have in the database. The data just sits there. And then we said, well, we want relevant. So the example of Legoland Star Wars days, it might be, for some people very interesting. Some people don't care about Star Wars and would never go. So we look at, if we send out an email about Legoland Star Wars days, we actually look at the people that opened and the people that clicked, the most engaged ones. If it says, Lego Star Wars days in the subject line already, if you're not interested, you wouldn't open. So the openers and the clickers are always the most engaged people. We feed that data back to Facebook, and then we target those people on Facebook with Lego Star Wars days ads and try to get them in. And what we then do with the lookalike modeling, we then create lookalikes of that people that have been interested in that topic in that moment of time within the email marketing channel. So we're not only taking the whole database and find lookalikes of those, we make it specific to a product, to a time, and an audience. What we've seen, a 59% increase in click-through rate in the lookalike audiences, return on investment of 31, and people that were targeted on email and Facebook at the same time or after each other were 11% more likely to purchase. So direct uplift that we were able to see when getting people the same message linked up in a multi-channel campaign. Programmatic. Have you guys done display ads and linked it back to email? Yes? A few, yeah, but fewer people. Also possible, slightly more complex, because you can do direct, but direct match is quite an expensive way of doing it. So we actually focused on 3 things. We did retargeting, so you can actually put retargeting pixels in your emails. Once somebody opens your emails, you can start targeting them. Very easy thing to do. Profiling, so we look at mosaic profiling from our customers and just against that. And also we purchase after keywords. So what we also do is we target the people in our database, look at what keywords they attract, and then kind of target on those keywords to kind of overlap. Slightly more complex, and we've never done the approach of targeting just for cost reasons, because it is quite expensive to direct match people. So this is the example I want to show you. Halloween last year. So we created, so it was a campaign that was done completely within my team. It started as an email marketing campaign, which we then extended. So we had an email journey. The first one was trick or treat. Which one will you pick? A lot going on. trick or treat, flashing lights, you know, everything imagine. And people had to choose in the first email, so we didn't talk about products, we didn't talk about price, we didn't, you know, there was nothing in it. It just says trick or treat, which one will you pick? It was one of our most successful campaign last year. We then took it to a landing page, and the landing page was kind of the hub. It was a microsite that we created. We also followed up to people. If you click trick, we would have sent you a trick email with trick attractions afterwards. So the more kind of scary events that we have on. If you selected treat, we would kind of show you, you know, Live Legoland, the little for smaller kids, usually. And then we had landing pages that landing pages then allowed us to do. We were able to, if you clicked on treat, you went on the, we had different content. So we had treat, trick, and a joint campaign content. So whatever you were doing, you were being served the right content afterwards. And we retargeted you. Want more, so they're actually giving people things to do, and we're introducing landing pages to more of our campaigns now, even though it does add an extra step in the consumer journey. But we we don't get any huge bounce rates, and people don't off, so the revenue shows that it's actually working. The results for that: retargeting and lookalikes performed best. Retargeting will always work the best because, you know, it's the last click attribution. That's what it is. The cost per acquisition between social and display was just under £1, and the return on investment to 206. So for every £1 that we spent into the campaign, we made £206 back, and many happy guests in our attractions over Halloween. So that was it for me. 3 things to take away from us today. Think about the consumer and how the consumer behaves. I think I mentioned it earlier. You know, that kind of user, you really need the multi-channel in order to bring the consumer experience together. Use your data and kind of run social media and speak to the social media guys and allow them to have access to your data. And find insights that you have in email marketing or in CRM, and try to support the other teams that are out there that might even know all of the data and the insight that you have. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ulf. So I have a question.
Yes.
It's great, all of these connections that you're making with the lookalike modeling and the different channels. What are you doing to prepare for GDPR?
Thanks. Yeah. Where should I start? Where should I end? Big question. So there, you know, profiling is a big part of GDPR. Also, lookalike modeling. So in Germany, you know, laws in Germany are even stricter than in the UK, or even stricter than GDPR. In some of the German states, we have to stop lookalike modeling already. I think in March this year. Because it was a little different over there, so we kind of not only have to adapt to GDPR, but also local laws. It's quite messy, but we will have to opt in people to profiling, lookalike modeling, targeting on Facebook, and stuff like that. So it is part of the whole discussion with GDPR. We have somebody in our team that works 2 days a week just on GDPR that we were able to bring in. Because it is just workload on top of everything else that is already going on in every team, I think. So I'm glad that we have somebody for 2 days to actually focus on that. And we work really, really close on, you know, I'm more from the marketing side. You know, I don't have a tech or IT background or a legal background. I have a marketing background, so, you know, I know what I want to do because it delivers revenue, and he tells me what I can't do. That's not how it works.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, I'm Chiara from the North. How many people are in the CRM department and digital department, or you are together? How many people?
In the CRM department with me, it's so I have 4 people underneath me. one for Germany and Denmark, one for the UK, and then a designer and coder, and then one actual campaign manager that deploys the campaigns. And within the overall digital department, it gets very messy in our company because we have attractions. The attractions have some teams, central teams. Some stuff the attractions do themselves. Some are centralized, like email marketing. The attractions can't send out emails anymore. We would do it, but the attractions would still book their advertising themselves, or So it is a organizational, I think, in change at the moment. We're trying to centralize it more, I think.
Hi there, Robert Coyne with Live Intent. Question, I've seen brands breaking down silos with CRM and this, digital extension using CRM data, but a lot of questions around where budget comes from, whether it's from traditional display and teams or the CRM teams. Yeah. How do you deal with that, and how does that work?
I can't give you the success story here, how we do it. So my department doesn't have budget, so we run on a P&L, and we actually have to make money internally. So we work with attractions that actually charge them for campaigns. So we run on almost like an in-house agency model. So when I run social media campaigns within my department, I need to pitch for money and try to get money, because the actual marketing budgets sit with the attractions and the attractions P&Ls. So there are 32 P&Ls I'm trying to steal money from. They're not very happy. But as I said, I think there are things changing. Us in the central team being able to have an overview of all of the attractions, what works, what doesn't work. How can we, especially in the Halloween campaign, you may have visited Legoland, but actually your child has grown up. You should be going to Chessington now. So we are that customer pyramid. We are able to drive you through our brand while your children grow up, for example. We can only do that from a central perspective. Their objective would be get me repeat visitation, but actually it's now 8. It's not going to go to Legoland anymore. But we can use the data and move them somewhere else. So there's more. The more we prove things like this work, and the more we can prove that data is essential to marketing and to what we do in decision making, the more we are able to actually get more funds into the central team to operate more for the attraction on behalf of the attractions, and hopefully with the team. Oh, yeah.
Anything?
Hi, Florin. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Congrats. I want to ask you if you think that you ever did an error based on data in your campaigns. I mean, looking at your data to take a erroneous decision.
Yeah, which one should I tell you about? Is probably the answer. For touch wood, in terms of like tweets or anything like that, touch wood, we haven't had anything. I think with so we have 13 brands in the UK. We do testing. We have stand-up buys. Halloween campaign that we saw set up 104 sales within the ESP. So my campaign was there, putting a into 304 sales and subject lines. We target sender profiles. I think for our ESP, the most complex client on that. Not looking at anyone here, but it's we hear that a lot, and we get sometimes to the complexity of things is a challenge sometimes, and it's not you sometimes send the wrong HTML to the wrong people. The thrill seeker might get a family one. We had massive ones, so there's not we go through very precise Q&A for every campaign to ensure everything is correct. We've introduced cross-department checks, so every email that goes out from our email department is being checked by another department, just to ensure we're not blind to our email creative and don't see anything. We're too close to things, so we're to other people to check ticket. But overall, luckily, no big ones.
I have a question around your brands.
Yes.
Do the public perceive Merlin as a brand and understand the connection between Legoland and Chessington? Because you were talking about how someone grows from one brand to the other. Is that a challenge, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it is a challenge. The UK market is probably the easiest one in that. In the UK we have the Merlin Annual Pass, which is a product that has been there for years. It's an annual pass that gets you into all of the attractions for 12 months. So that is branded as Merlin, which has helped the overall communication. Unfortunately, the incident that we had in Alton Towers 3 years ago has had an impact on actually Merlin. So it's now always, people always talked about Merlin. So on the slightly positive side on that, people now know which attractions belong to Merlin. So people started talking about Merlin. So there is a growing brand awareness on Merlin, but we really struggle in other markets like Germany. So when we do cross campaigns, it is a lot harder, but we've not seen a negative impact of that. We also have something called a group opt-in, so you can actually opt to Merlin Entertainments rather than just to specific attractions, and it's a standard to opt into Merlin Entertainment. We are currently building a preference center, and we hope that the preference center will actually help. So you might receive an email from Legoland Windsor, and you might click on Manage My Preference, and then you see all of our brands, and we try to get that. But we are currently in the Merlin Annual Pass sale, so our subscribers get communication around that as well, which kind of feeds all of the attractions. So in the UK, it's all right. Germany is a lot tougher.
Thank you.
Thank you.